Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries, and in this RPG Bugbears video I'm going to be talking about a phrase sometimes used in conjunction with RPGs that I find particularly annoying. Please forgive me if I sound a little bit out of breath. I'm suffering some kind of chest cold at the moment. But the phrase that we're going to deal with here is the phrase, "It's just a game." Now obviously I'm not going to try and deny that RPGs are at their heart games. After all, that's what the G in RPG stands for. However, I feel that the word "just" belittles and makes light of a very complex and rewarding hobby. At its heart, RPGs bring people together to share or tell a story. And this is something that mankind has done since their earliest days, when hunters gathered around a fire to tell cautionary tales or parables about the monstrous beasts that lurked just beyond the firelight, waiting to snatch up the unwary. And modern entertainment, computer games, etc., has increasingly made a move towards more collaborative play, more ways of getting people involved with each other, getting them socialised with each other through gaming. And this is something that RPGs have been doing for an awfully long time, whether that's in the more traditional face-to-face gaming, or whether it's via the increased use of online platforms such as Google Hangouts, Skype, etc., whatever you fancy. It's also an imaginative exercise that pulls on the imaginations of all of the various people involved to create a story or a narrative that has input from all of them, but through this melding of different ideas is far greater than the sum of its parts. And it can also be used to explore and experience numerous scenarios and ideas that may be far outside of the norm of what you experience in real life. So it expands your horizons in a way and allows you to pull on those areas of creativity and imagination. I feel that using the phrase "it's just a game" or "it's only a game" is really making light of something which, whilst it can be played as a simple game, there are numerous board games going back to the old MB Games, Hero Quest, Warhammer Quest by Games Workshop, Talisman, etc. Numerous board games that use the same basic formula that some of the earlier sort of D&D, dungeon crawly style RPGs use. However, none of them, to my mind, really have the same depth or complexity or hold the interest for me that many of these self-same RPGs do. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with them. I've played these board games, I've very much enjoyed them. However, I always find myself coming back to the RPGs, and I think if they were simply a quick game, I don't think they would capture my imagination that much. However, each time I turn up to a role-play game, or I sit down at a role-play game table, I can never predict exactly what's going to occur, but I know that during the evening I'll be called upon to make numerous choices that will test my imagination, that will force me to call on that imaginative part of my brain to contribute to the group narrative. And that's something that really captures my attention and brings me back to RPGs again and again. So, and that is why I think that under no circumstances shall anyone classify RPGs as just a game or as only a game. I think you get as much out of an RPG as you put into it, and I don't think there's any limit beyond what time you have to prepare and what real life will allow that you can put into an RPG, and thus very little upper limit on what you can get out of them. So that's my opinion on the phrase "it's just a game." Personally, it's a phrase that drives me absolutely mad. So I think it shows a deep misunderstanding, of what RPGs are and how rewarding they can be. That's not to say that you can't have a simple RPG, because you can. However, I still don't think that makes it any less than a very rewarding experience. So, if you have any suggestions about the phrase "it's just a game," you have any comments on this video, please leave them in the comments box down below, or hit me up in the Google Plus links. I hope you've enjoyed this video. You'll click on like and subscribe. We release new videos every Wednesday, and until I see you next time, I look forward to reading what you've written. Thank you very much. Take care.